Okay, welcome back to What If History Restarted. This is episode 24. Last time, we saw more tensions rise in Europe. Wales is getting pretty powerful. Some exploration. Yeah, that's about it. So, speaking of exploration, we see that the South, Mozambique, whatever, they lead a pretty big expedition and fully discover all of these parts of Africa. So now everything except for the Sahara in Africa is discovered. We'll also just found the ocean a little here. Meanwhile, up here, poor little Cypriots are still pretty unstable. Let's just take a look at them on the religion map. They have like all of the reds, all of the red, all of the dark red, most of the darkest red, some light blue, orange, some pink, some purplish, I guess, some of this color, some of this one, and some of the greens, even some of the Russian. So obviously they're very diverse. Some of these ethnic groups, well, pretty much all of these ethnic groups want out. But we're only going to see that happen with two of them right now. Being these two. There's obviously a ton of separatist movements, but these are the first two successful ones. So we see that this country is going to break off up here, part of the sort of light pink religion. They're also just going to go ahead and give this over to the, what's it called, Ukrainians people. And yeah. We also see that their capital is just going to be their one city. But we'll give a couple more cities just all throughout Europe. So, just like this. Just in case we see some wars, then things will be more interesting. Probably a lot over in the Balkans. But anyway, well, also some over here, up here. Yeah. So then there's, I forgot to select it, but there's also this one. This is these are Libyans. Most of them are under the control of the Gibraltarians now. As you can see, that's where both the major cities are. I'm sure the Cypriots have that island for some reason. But this group right here is going to also be released eventually. Just kind of breaks off. So we now have this new Libyan state. Finally. The Gibraltarians are definitely eyeing this up, but since they just broke off, they're worried that they will be too nationalistic to hold down. So they just look like that. So they don't invade them, I mean. They will also be expanding into the Sahara by a pretty decent amount. Just like this. Speaking of the Sahara kind of region, we see that this country is going to start to push up very far, just into the desert. And some more exploration up here. All these countries are going to expand, of course. But we do also see that this country is going to fracture into two. I'm not exactly sure why this would happen, but we can always chalk it up to being like political difference. Two kings, one wants some of these people want one king, these guys want another. So, it's always a mess. And this greenish one is going to become actually pretty powerful. And they're also going to go to war with this bluish one. They make a lot of advancements around this lake, but eventually they encircle the capital and take it. And after some more pushing, this bluish one is going to surrender. And in the peace treaty, we see that they are actually going to be fully annexed. Well, not fully annexed. They're fully dissolved, basically, because this one is just given. Most of it is just given over to the main country. We will also make this a major city. But for this little light greenish half up here that I haven't recolored yet, that is going to actually become a new color because it's going to be its own country now. These guys just wanted to fully dissolve the old country, so they did. And with that now out of the way, this greenish one is going to, please give me the right layer, is going to expand by a ton. And they kind of become pretty quickly the dominant power of this region, other than maybe, you know, these eastern ones. This guy over here is also going to expand by a pretty decent amount. This grayish one, including to the border of these guys, but only just barely. And if we go to the religion map, we see that this group is also going to go ahead and start doing their own thing. So this group is now an independent country. They fully developed into civilization. Too much of that color around here, so we're going to make them like that. And the capital, we'll just throw it there. So yeah, you might also just see one more country pop up over here. Not on the city layer. And they're just going to be alongside the Cypriots. And I almost gave them a medium city for a capital. They're pretty much just desert, but oh well. So, yeah. If we look at the religion map here, we see, obviously, a lot of this light green religion is pretty well adapted to Cypriot culture now, except for like the Persians and also the people over here. And because of those people over here, it's really, it's really just like from past this line. This is like the only green, other than the Persians, who are like, you know, secret. These are the only like rebellious people. And soon enough, they're too much, so then the Cypriots pretty much just kick them out. And so the Indus River Valley puppet state is now no longer a puppet state. And it's also pretty big now, but also definitely not the Indus River Valley anymore. They're just kind of like West India. They do not join any alliance because they think that they're better than that. They do expand up here though. And pretty quickly, pretty much up everything, well, everyone expands up to the Himalayas. So that's nice. Trade route kingdoms, we're going to see expand even more because they are pretty wealthy. Not necessarily like powerful in terms of military, but they are pretty rich. And yeah. So with this last one, why is there a circle? Like, you see that, right? Why is this just a circle here? We're gonna say that, no, it's on this. Why do they all have a circle? I just noticed that. How did that happen? Anyway, this team is going to want to control the capital of, I don't know why I pointed this one capital, but it wants to control this one's capital because that's actually probably the biggest city on this out of these four. So they go ahead and move into the weird circle and now make their way to the capital. However, unfortunately for them, this team is going to see this as a good opportunity to try and control their capital. So now we just see this thing. We could even see this one like go and try to take their capital, but I don't think that's going to happen. This country also leads kind of like a counteroffensive up in the north. They take this lake, if that's important. And now these two guys just kind of work on collapsing the north of this country. Meanwhile, over here, they do get cut in half. And now this sort of southern part starts to fall. This team does lose its capital, though. So it pulls back a lot of its troops from over here. And makes a pretty nice counteroffensive, taking back the capital. and now also pushing out these guys and taking their north. However, these guys are now getting also funded by this team because they cut out a deal that they'll get some of the trade route money from the city. And so, with that new funding, these guys make a pretty big expansion down here in the south on the front line. And soon enough, the capital is encircled. It's a pretty big encirclement. Slowly but surely, all these troops get kicked out, till eventually this country surrenders. So, in this peace treaty, you see the one most benefiting is probably going to be this blue country, as they did really not lose any land, they just gained a lot, and the invasions, what they're occupying, all that. So, to start with, they are going to be getting the capital of this country, as well as like the entire south. We'll also just say this country gets a little cut of this slice. As for what's left of this country, a lot of these people got kind of messed up by it, so they want to give them compensation, so they give them the north. Yeah. We're actually going to make this a medium city, because like it's on the trade route, pretty important for wealth and all that, so yeah. And let's also just do this because that looks weird. Whoa. And there. So now, moving back over here to Europe, we're going to take another look at Wales, because now they are leading their fight into Ireland. They take this, well, they pretty much roll through the entire island, both countries involved, both other countries on the island, and then they go ahead and annex them. We'll make this one a major city, but this one nothing. So now Wales controls all of Ireland as well. However, up here, we're going to see that this country kind of fractures into two. The European and the British half are slowly kind of got distant from each other. So these guys now want to be their own thing. So, also, there's a lot of Welsh people who want to be in this movement. So pretty much all of this goes to this team as well. With that, we also see that Yorkshire is going to go on a little conquest down here, invading into Wales. So this war stalemates pretty quickly, but these guys are just going to take all the land they occupied. And then these two countries are going to, because they definitely hate each other, they're also going to go to war. This team takes the capital, and this one storms in on here. So they took each other's capital, but as you can see, one team is definitely in the lead here. And so Scotland kind of pushes these guys out, and now Scotland is one again. I don't know if it was ever one, but now it is one. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And these guys also lead a little invasion into Wales, so I guess everyone just wants to pick apart right now. But yeah, they also managed to take all of this. British Isles are looking a little bit less divided. Over here, though, we see that war is going to take place. This Brittany country is going to start invading I think this team was originally British, too, so it might not have been, but if it was, then that's kind of funny. But, yeah, these guys start pushing in here. However, we see that a rebellion goes ahead and forms up in these guys, because a lot of these people are very unhappy with the king. So, yeah. You'll see that they kind of divide the country in two, but they also take the capital. This team manages to take back all their country and finish off the rest. However, the rebels are facing the rebellion of the original government, and pretty soon they kind of just have to work out a peace deal, which is going to look pretty terrible, but it'll have to do. Let's just save their color right there. So these guys, well, probably won't get all of that. Yeah, they do expand a little bit, take all that. But as for over here, you're going to see that the original government is just kind of going to exist in some pockets, including the city. Yeah, they have this area, as well as this. There's this little corridor, though, that allows this team to easily trade with this guy. We also see that this is original king. And so, yes, now their capital is going to be their only major city. So now we just have this weird little blobby country. So if you look at the star team versus the square team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members. Star team has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So star team is feeling a little bit outnumbered. So they want to get this country to join them, but if you remember, they sold this land over to the Ukrainians. Whoa. The Ukrainians are pretty, friendly with them now, so they actually joined the square team as well. So this is not nice for the star team, because now they're even more outnumbered. They are finally, but they can actually leverage this, because now they're saying, like, look how rapidly the square team's expanding. This is not good. So actually, we see that they are able to leverage that and get this team to join. Let's just make them a new star, because that looked weird. Star is right here. Also, over here, we see that the original government of this Brittany is going to be on the star team, but this one stays neutral. Speaking of the star team, though, things aren't going too great for them, as morale is low. Some people just kind of want to join the square team now, especially as you can see over in this pinkish religion. We see that a good chunk of it is in the square team. So because of that, a lot of these more like southern, let's just use this color, a lot of like these people are wanting to be more on the square team. So there's yet another civil war over here. And I guess this is kind of like Kaliningrad. The capital's in Latvia, but kind of like focused around Kaliningrad. I'm not sure what you call this. But yeah, these people who are more aligned with the star team are going to be starting a breakaway movement right over here. And also over here in the actual core area of the team, we see that there's these people who are not a separatist movement. They just want to overthrow the government and have a new country here. I mean, I guess it kind of is a separatist movement, but not really. So they block off the capital. And yeah. So now we have these three fronts. There's the original government. I don't know if the alliances. There's the original government, separatist movement for the square team, and now this sort of like, I don't know what you call this. It's kind of just a coup, but yeah. So the square team breakaway is going pretty well down here. As for the people who are trying to overthrow the government, it's not going as well. But they do manage to take the capital, so even though they are losing a lot of land, I guess that's something they got going for them. But things are only going to get more complicated, because now there's another separatist movement over here. These guys still want to be on the star team, but they don't like the original government, and they don't like the overthrowers. They kind of just want to be their own thing. So they want to be a separatist movement to join the star team, even though they're already in the star team. They just don't like that these guys are in the star team. They don't like that these guys are kind of like killing a lot of innocent people. Now this guy wants to be their own thing. It's very messy. It looks like Germany is invading. Let's change the color. You can barely see that though. Give them that one. So soon enough, the original government is going to completely collapse. They're kind of hiding in the city, but now that's gone. And so this Latvian team has completely collapsed into civil war. Eventually, the three groups are going to get to about here. And once they do, they're going to finally agree to peace. Looking like this. So, this team's capital will be right here, and this team's will be right here. We'll do it in the second half. Now we gotta look back at the alliance map to update it. So, remember, both of these teams still want to be in the triangle team, but they also hate each other, so it's a little complicated here. But it's going to come down to a vote, and everyone else wants this team to be in the star team. The other star team members want this guy to be in the star team rather than this one, because this one's stronger, and it's also like more like vicious. These guys, like I said, are kind of like pacifists. These guys from the square team. But now these guys are kind of isolated and scared. They definitely don't want to join the square team, but they also don't want to help, join these guys. So what they do is that I'm not sure how I'm going to show this on the map. Just do like a little line here. Make it green to show that's good. These guys kind of make just a pact with Germany. I'm going to call these guys Germany. But yeah, they make a pact with Germany that just says, like, if these guys get invaded by the square team, then you guys should still help us out. But the only one that actually, signs this is Germany. But, like, some of the other star team guys, like this one, are still kind of like, okay, we will do that. So, yeah. If these guys were to get invaded right now, we would probably see that Germany, this guy, and even Denmark maybe get involved to help them. We need that. Anyway, we're going to move on over from Europe over to Asia. These are like the former people from Russia. The Russian Hunnic Empire thing. These guys take that. In Siberia. These guys, they don't really do that much. This one is a little violent. So they're going to go ahead and invade into this golden one. They start rushing through with their old Russian horse tactics. But these guys have the same Russian horse tactics. So they kind of make a breakthrough right here. They isolate this group and encircle them. So now they're gone. These guys keep pushing in, but the invaders get a little carried away. And now all of a sudden they're going to this country. Let's make that a different color, because, yeah. And now these guys start going into here. And now this country's going to get into the war. They push them back. And now they start invading into the gold team territory, but that's just to like chase these guys out. They see this as helping out the gold team, but the gold team sees this as invading them. So now gold team is going to invade into them, take their capital, and then this country is just like, okay, well, this is free land, and now they start invading everyone, and they take both the gold team major cities, and also start pushing into this country, and there's just a big mess over here. Now this original invader is going to get completely smoked, and they get pushed all the way back to here. Now even like Baikal considers joining in, but they do not. But this trader up country does. So now they take that. These guys, I don't know why that's like that, continue to push in, and pretty quickly this thing just falls. We still have this mess to deal with. This country is going to, they were trying to help out Gold Team before, but now they see, now they feel like they've been betrayed. So now they just kind of go out and fully go against the Gold Team. This team fully secures this southern region, and also starts pushing up into the Gold Team some more. This country goes ahead and starts invading the Gold Team. You can barely see that, hold on. Sure. Yeah, so these guys start invading into the Gold Team. The Gold Team is definitely on the brink of collapse right now. However, these guys just keep pushing them back. But this team just kind of starts focusing on this group. So now they're eliminated from this war. But now the gold team is kind of just surrounded on both sides, so they get squished down. However, when these sides start to meet over in this area, they hate each other, and now this team starts pushing into them. Well, actually, I guess it would still be the same color. So yeah, this team starts pushing up into here, move all the way to their capital, and start pushing up here. Because I don't think this was originally gold. This was not part of the Russian Empire. This was its own thing from before. The gold team makes kind of a comeback. They also start pushing into this brown team. This brown team, I believe, is kind of like the core Russian Empire thing. But now they're falling. The gold team starts pushing back here until eventually they secure down all of this land. Pretty much pushing these guys back to this lake. As well as pushing into this country. So now these guys are just kind of going through the gold team's land to try and invade this team. It's very odd. The Cypriots consider joining, and they're actually going ahead and do that. Because the Russians are surprisingly easy to hold down. Like, they really aren't that nationalistic. So, because of that, Cypriots just see this as free land. Soon enough, this team falls. The Cypriots are just gonna cut a deal with others. They just take their piece of land and leave. So, take that. Anyway, as for these two countries, they continue fighting for a little bit, but eventually they're going to agree to a peace treaty, which is probably going to be a very brutal one for pretty much every country. Okay, maybe we won't start with that. This team's gonna take a lot of that. And their capital. Well, actually, that would probably be a major city. So like that. This guy's gone. If I can use the right layer, that is. So yeah, this team gets destroyed. Let's just give this looking like that to make this easier to draw. So this team pretty much is just going to be like shifting the gold team upwards. Because they now take like all of this land. They also give some of it over to this pinkish one. These guys are rich, so they have the money to buy it. As for the rest of the gold team, they take the rest of the former Russian Empire core territory thing. But now the people over here, let's just like select the religion map. So yes, you can see it's mostly this dark red religion, but up in the north we have these slight variations of the Russian religion. So because of that, some of these guys want to be independent. So if we could do that, world map. You see, this is actually going to break off, and it's also going to take a nice amount of land from these guys. Like a very big amount, probably over half the country. Definitely over half the country. Alright, forgot cities. Boom. I forgot which one was the capital. This was the gold team capital. So we'll make that. We'll just give another city right there. We'll make that a medium city. And yeah. Well, this team also needs a capital. Now, the gold team, kind of after this, what they do is interesting. They actually, if we look at the trade route, they see that they are not connected. However, they are going to build, and advertise and all that, their own little offset of the trade route that goes through their capital, eventually meets up with this one over here. And this trade route is also going to go through these guys, because remember, these guys are all about the trade route, and they just want money. But they also extend it up here to Lake Baikal, so that they can be business partners as well. But because of that, actually, since this is like a brand new trade route, a lot of people are like, wow, this thing's so hip and cool, let's use it. So this starts getting a lot of traction, and these guys start buying a lot of technology and becoming like, more technologically advanced and more culturally similar to these guys. I mean, they're still definitely more Russian than European, but like, they're starting to get European influence. And with their new technology, they're actually going to become like more, I guess, civilized. And so we see them pop up in couple major cities. And yeah. So with that, I think this is going to be the end of this episode. Maybe we'll just finish it off with a little bit more exploration of Siberia, because, you know, it takes a while. 44, that seems good. Not that island. It's mostly over here in the east, but they do find a lot of this land. Like I've said before, I think I've said it before, it's pretty hard to explore the oceans of Siberia since it's so freezing cold. So we're going to see that the ocean exploration goes like barely beyond the land. But yeah. But one last little event, we're going to see a brand new Pacific exploration group is going to go all the way across the world, and they're going to land in Hawaii. So nothing happens yet, but they do know that Hawaii exists now in China. Their assumption is that Hawaii might be like somewhere like one of these islands. Let's fill this one in, because they know that there's like there's like the Cape Verdean Islands, and then these guys, and this one. So they know that there's a lot of like little islands in the Atlantic. So they think that Hawaii might be an Atlantic country, an Atlantic Ocean thing. It's like maybe like here. This is what they think, pretty much. But as we know, that's not true. But they don't go much further than Hawaii, because they do try to get to, you know, these guys. But after doing that, they can't really find much of anything, so they eventually just decide to turn back. And let's just do that, because that looks weird. But yeah, they turn back because they couldn't find these guys. They just assume that, like, maybe there's just a bunch of tiny islands out here that they don't really care about. And this is very far away from their home, so, you know, it's hard to get resources and stuff. What happened down here? Why, okay. Did I do that last episode? I don't think this is supposed to be like that. But anyway, now that is actually it for this video, so goodbye.